Okay.
Alright. So, Mackenzie, first of all, let me say
Yes.
you're chock full of background noise.
I'm sorry, I'm getting out of it.
Okay, next. So, I typed you before as ESTP, and you've heard
Yes.
some contrary indications from some people. Some people, you've
I
encountered a few
have,
people we like to
yes.
call contrary Carltons or contrarian Consuelos. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Can you extrapolate a bit?
Okay, so this person who is also from the typing community that I recently came into contact with, I think he did watch my live stream that you did of me the first time, and he said that he didn't know exactly at first he said he didn't know exactly what type he thought I was, but that it was FITE and not TIFE. So after talking to him for a little bit, because we got into contact with each other on Facebook and then started video chatting, he typed me as an ESFP, and he said that you were wrong about me being TI tool. So I asked him about the question, about the genealogy question, because you said that was the reason why you thought I had like TI consciously. And I said, well, if I got that right, and there's a lot of people who don't, even people who are not TI polar, like a lot of people don't get it off the bat, then how can I not be TI tool, or how can I be TI polar if I got that right? He didn't really give me a reason for that, but I think that he doesn't agree with that usage of testing.
Okay. Well, I mean, the thing is this: if you choose not to have a meaningful definition of something, then you can arbitrarily wave around whatever you want to say. Oh, you're FI, Mackenzie. Well, why? Well, what are the reasons he gave you?
Okay, well, there was a couple of reasons. So, one of the reasons in what he told me, so we rewatched the first typing. Him and I rewatched the first typing that you did with me. And it was one of the first questions it was the first question you asked me. It was, if you have 3 kids and the product of their age is 36, what are you told me to give you 3 possibilities of what each of their ages could be. And so in the video, you could tell that I was thinking for a second because it didn't clearly come to me. And he was like, "See, you should have seen right here. He should have seen right there that you were TI polar." But I don't know if he
So
didn't listen to the part where I answered the question, because I did answer the question that you asked me.
it sounds like, foremost, that this individual is interested in critiquing me or in correcting me more than he is in being correct or offering you any useful information. But the thing is, so if you did think for a little bit about a TI question, that doesn't really indicate you a whole lot of anything. So let's review the TI. Let's review your TI a bit, and let's ask you some more TI questions and find out if it's polar. Now, note, we have a great example from just 2 days ago. I think yesterday it was, of an ESFP who did successfully answer a couple of genealogy questions, and thereafter demonstrated very clearly what TI polar looks like. So we have a nice contrast or comparison, depending on how you respond to these sort of things.
Okay.
Okay, so if I go to 7-Eleven, I will get either a Slurpee or a big gulp. And if I don't go to 7-Eleven, I will go to Circle K instead. I do not get a big gulp, and I do not get a Slurpee. What can we conclude?
That you did not go to 7-Eleven?
And therefore?
You went to Circle K instead?
Correct. Okay. On Thursday, Janie has soccer practice. If she doesn't hurt herself during soccer practice on Thursday, then she will play in the game on Saturday. However, if she does hurt herself in soccer practice on Thursday, then she will not play in the game on Saturday. If she does play in the game on Saturday, either her mom or her dad, but not both, will come to see her play. Now I've got two pieces of news for you. She does not hurt herself, and her mom is away on business. What can we conclude?
That she's going to play in the game and that her dad is coming to see her instead?
Correct. Here's a question that I asked an ESTP yesterday verbatim. I have either a horse or a cat, and I don't have a cat. What can we conclude?
That you have a horse?
Right. Very straightforward. Surprisingly, that was not a straightforward question for the individual I asked. I asked questions like, some acorns fall far from the tree. Some things that have fallen far from the tree are plums. Does that mean we can conclude that some acorns are plums?
No.
Okay, how about this? Only blue jays like to fly from branch to branch. That bird's flying from branch to branch. Does that mean we can conclude it's a blue jay?
Yes.
Okay, you're TI tool. Now, listen. Let's talk about how one would want to try to dispute this. First of all, the other possibility you could be, because you're definitely TI-FE, and I don't remember exactly why I concluded you were SENI instead of NESI, but I'm sure I had a good reason for it. What's that?
My NE wasn't great. It was.
Okay. So, yeah. Fine. The thing is, that puts you beta quadra. Now, you got 4 choices. You are not an ISTP because you got too much to say to be an ISTP. You're not an INFJ because you're too much of an action type to be an INFJ. You're not an ENFJ, both because you're not SI polar and because your TI is too good. That makes you an ESTP, and that's all there is to it.
Okay, let me ask you another question then. If me and this person have a lot of conflict in conversating and I guess not understanding where the other person is coming from, would that say anything about what the other person's type is in comparison to mine? Like, would that mean that person probably has like the conflicting instrumental and absolute values of the functions?
Yeah, I would imagine so. But here's the thing: what I typically would say is the most at odds types are those that do the 8 and the 7. So it's like, for example, ESFP has SEFI. I have NETI. So for each of us, the other one is their first function is the 8, their second function is the 7. So the 8 of you is NE, and the 7 of you is FI. So that would be ENFP. It would seem like you would most likely not get along with ENFP in general.
Okay.
But the thing is, regardless of that, it's going to be somewhat modified by the fact of the environment. This environment, one where we're talking about these kind of ideas that require good TI parsing and good stout mapping techniques, so to speak. This is the domain of TI and not of FI-NI. In other words, NI is important to sort of get the concepts and stuff, but if you're trying to get by with just introverted intuition and understanding and explaining it, then you've reduced processes to attributes in some sense, and it's not going to work very well. Now, as far as other types that would annoy you, well, I don't know. So ESFP, ENFP would both annoy you because of the lack of TI. But as they both annoy me, when we're talking about cognitive functions or other things that you and I think ought to be parsed out logically, and that they think ought to be gestured at intuitively and or decided on with their feelings.
Okay, well, let's say, so what if this person, okay, so if this, if this person is an ENFJ and I'm an ESTP, if that's true, then shouldn't we have more of a compatible relationship?
Um,
Or not necessarily. I mean, I know, like, you got along with Amy, but I know that was only during a typing session, and she's apparently an ESFP. And that's like,
ENFJ, ENFJ goes NI, and it goes FENI. That'd be the equivalent of me and an ESFJ. The thing, okay, so the thing is, it's certainly quite. Here's the deal: if there's an inherent conflict between the two of you, and it's typology related, in other words, it's type related and not just something else, then it is vastly more likely that the other party's not an ENFJ than it is that you're not an ESTP.
mm-hmm.
And like I
So,
said, the
but
types that would be most likely to annoy you would be ESFP or ENFP. ENFP first, then ESFP.
okay. So if I am an ENFP, it's likely that this person's not an ENFJ. But if that person is an ENFJ, then it's likely that I'm not an ESTP.
Well, you are definitely an ESTP, regardless. The person may well be an ENFJ. If they are,
Mm-hmm.
then the conflict between the two of you, it stems from one of you being unhealthy in some fashion. I personally
Okay.
don't believe you to be unhealthy in any fashion, Mackenzie. You seem very what's the word? Adapted to life. Like, you seem comfortable in your skin, you know? Uh,
Some.
so, but regardless, the point is, the possibilities are multiple. ENFJs could simply be wrong, and that could be just grading you the wrong way because they're inadequately justifying their wrongness.
Mm-hmm.
That would be possible. It could be that their wrongness is driven by their feelings. In other words, a desire to be the expert and to be more correct than Eric. That would be more likely to be expressed in an ENFP or an ESFP. Um, there's been, ESFPs can be very effective at faking being other types if they work on it. And ESFPs can also behave very differently around some people and other people if they're implementing some plan of some sort, you know. So
Okay.
it's hard to say for sure, but about the other person's type is difficult to identify definitively. Yours is very easy to say the following two things for sure: your beta quadra and your TI above FE. So once you say that, then that eliminates the possibility that you're INFJ, and it eliminates the possibility that you're ENFJ, and then all that somebody would have to say is, "Oh no, Eric, you're wrong because she's an ISTP." That's the best that they could possibly do, and they wouldn't be able to sustain that either because you got too much extroverted intuition for an ISTP and too much to say in general. ISTPs, as I've mentioned before, have the conversational momentum of a rock.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, I knew that I wasn't an introvert or a dominant extroverted interfacer. So I knew that I had to be, one of the four remaining types, but I know that I'm not extroverted. Like, I know that I don't have NE as a dominant function. So I guess the only two types that would make sense are either ESFP or ESTP. And this person gave me other reasons, more than what I just mentioned, but there was a couple of other reasons as to why I, I'm TI polar in his opinion. Um, he actually tested my TI, and there was this one question. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It asks if you have 25 horses and 5 races, or no, 25 horses, and you can only what was it? You can only race 5 horses at a time. How many races would you, or what is the minimum amount of races that you would need to find the top 3 fastest horses? Have you ever heard of that?
Um, You'd say the mechanism wouldn't allow for you to derive that conclusion from those particulars. So in other words, there's no way to derive that from that grouping.
Uh, Here, let me see if I can. I'm gonna look it up. Can I look it up and read it out to you?
The answer should be 5 races because the 3 fastest horses will have the 3 fastest times in the 5 races. And if you have them race again, then you're no longer testing the fastness of the horse but the endurance.
Well, apparently the answer is 7.
That's just bullshit then. Because look, it's just a matter of interpretation, right? It's not. That is not a TI question. With a minimum number of races, you can determine the 3 fastest horses out of 5. When you have 25 horses, the minimum number of races, and you can only race 5 horses per race. So okay, you do 5 races, gets you all 25 horses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then why don't you just pick the 3 fastest times from there?
Well, okay, that was the catch. You don't have a stopwatch. You can't time the horses. So my answer, I said a couple of different answers, but my last final answer was 6, I think it was. So if you do 5 races, at the end you have 5 fastest horses, and then you just race those 5 horses and the top 3 out of that race.
Okay, that's what I would say too. Then that's what I would say too.
But I think the actual correct, because this answer, it's not only what the person answered on the internet. I tried to read the proof of it, but it honestly confused me.
Okay, well here's the thing: if this individual has the capacity to test TI, then he should be able to ask a variety of different kinds of deductive reasoning questions, and be able to say that failure to answer one that requires a lot of interpretation, it sounds like, and it sounds more like a TE problem, is not really indicative of TI at all. Regardless, we just tested your TI. What other TI test did he give you?
Okay, he asked me. Oh, okay, and this is one that I agree with him. I shouldn't have gotten wrong. He asked me the question of if you have. Okay, so you have. What was it? So you have one duck. No, okay, you have a duck, and then you have a duck behind. You have a duck, and then a duck in front of a duck behind a duck, and 2 ducks in between a duck. So I first answered 5, but then I knew that was wrong.
How do you have in between a duck?
Huh?
How can you be in between a duck?
So I might be wording it wrong. So you have one duck. You have a duck. You have a duck in front of a duck.
McKenzie, listen. Let's just stop right there. What you're doing right now is TI, tool function. You're saying, I want to stress, here are the good reasons he had to type me as TI and not being TI tool. He did have some good reasons. I want to articulate them to you because I want to be consistent with reality in that regard. Here's the fact of the matter. He has no such equivalent of consistency with reality. In other words, he was looking for good reasons to disagree and cherry picking and creating them so that he could make his point. And why? It seems very much like he's operating through an SE frame of reference. He doesn't care about being correct. He wants to create an impact. And he sure as fuck did, right? He made quite an impact.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's not a good thinker. Listen, I know this individual very clearly and very well. And I will assure you, in no uncertain terms, this individual does not think well. And it has either very weak TI fourth or possibly TI polar. So they've got no business trying to ascertain your TI is weaker than I say it is when they can't. They don't meet the bare minimum of good reasoning skills. So it's offensive. I mean, forget about who. The point is, let's test it some more. Let's test the living fuck out of it, okay? So that there's no doubt whatsoever as to how it goes. Now, here. Let's do some missing generalizations. All people from Malaysia enjoy breadfruit. Joey enjoys breadfruit. Therefore, he's from Malaysia. Is that valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Okay. Now, provide me a missing generalization that makes the following thing valid. You can't come in here. You're not wearing shoes. The answer has to begin with no, only, or all.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you
Yeah, sure.
repeat?
It's you can't come in here. You're not wearing shoes. What's the missing generalization? I'll give you an example one.
Oh, that only people can come in who, if they're wearing shoes?
Right. Or no barefoot
Okay.
people or whatever. Okay, fine. So you got the concept. Good. All right. How about those are blue jays. They're singing a sweet song. Those must be blue jays. They're singing a sweet song.
That only Blue Jays sing sweet songs?
Correct. Okay. I'm going to open up a document here right now
Okay.
in the middle of this chat thing, and
Ooh, that just sparked something.
I'm going to hold on a second. Let me find it.
Okay.
I'm going to type in here. Eight, B or something like that. AH. Okay. 8B. This is good. All right. So put it in here. Let me get rid of the answers first here. All right. Let's. Almost ready. Pew. And pew. Okay. So let me share this with you. Oh, I can't take. Never mind that. Hold on a second. Anyone with the link. I'm gonna make you an editor. And done. And share and copy link. Okay, so you can either do this in Google Docs, or you can just do it in the middle thing here verbally, depending on how you feel comfortable with it. But here's the right here. That's the Google Docs, and then I'm going to share it in the screen here. Share
Okay.
screen, Chrome tab, this one. All right.
Okay.
So this sentence, if it freezes, then the orchids will die, comprises two statements. The first statement is it freezes. The second statement is the orchids will die. Okay? So we do number one as an example. We don't need to write in the thing here, but if we were to write it in, we'd write it in as it freezes and the orchids will die. Alright, so now the representation goes like this. This is just if P, then Q, okay? P, then we'll use this thing, Q. And then for your reference, the other thing you will need is the symbol for not. The symbol for not is the squiggly line.
The tilde?
Yeah, right. Alright, so try number two. What's P?
We don't get insurance.
No, it's we do get insurance, and then there'll be a not in front of it.
Oh, we do get insurance. Okay, I see.
Okay, sure. And what's Q?
We will regret it.
What do you put here?
Okay, so you put not P.
Parentheses.
And then,
You gotta tell me the parentheses first. Parentheses, not P.
please not P. Horseshoe or whatever
Then,
that is. And
like that,
Q.
right? Okay. Try number three. You type it in
Okay.
yourself if you're on your computer.
Okay. I'm on my phone, but I
Okay,
can
never
try.
mind then. You can just talk me through it. Parentheses, meow, meow, meow.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna have to do it. We'll mess it up. Okay. Okay. So Bob steals the potatoes. So that would be okay. Parentheses. Not parentheses. Not P. Horseshoe.
Fucked up. No, the not goes outside the parentheses, I think.
If it's not the case that if Bob steals these potatoes.
Yeah, the not comes before the F, so it's outside the parentheses.
Okay.
Now the point is, one of the reasons why we're doing this is not because I necessarily expect you to get all of this right immediately, but rather because how quickly you're able to pick up this thing that you've not studied before is highly indicative of whether or not you're using TI tool. Okay?
Well, actually, I have studied this before. I took a logic class.
Okay, well, what's this one?
Okay. Let me go back to it. Are we still on number 3?
Yeah.
Okay, so tilde parentheses. P. Then Q.
No, then not Q.
Okay.
Okay, try 4.
Okay. So not P, then Q.
Where's the parentheses?
Or I'm sorry. Parentheses, not P, then Q.
Right. Okay, number 5.
Okay, Jenny Sue has no more chances if and only if she has used up her third chance. So parentheses, not P, the triple line Q.
Right. I'm gonna do it like that because I don't have triple line.
Okay.
All right, so you've got this process down easily enough. You even if you have studied before, you refreshed your memory on it quickly. Uh, this is basic, like logical representation of statements. Let's try a more challenging one. Let's try. Oops, this has the answers already. All right, why don't you take a look at number 1 here in the center of the autonomy thing and give it a shot.
Okay. Oh. I can barely see that.
Okay, here, let me make it bigger.
Okay. If Billy has a horrible disease, then if Uncle Fred bathes in a mountain stream, then Milton will wear his diamond encrusted bathing suit. Okay. So if Billy has a okay, so P or parentheses P. Horseshoe. Okay, parentheses. Q, horseshoe, R, parentheses. Or close parentheses, I guess.
Good. Okay. So now I'm gonna get another sheet here that I want to. JRP. Let's see which one I want to do here. All right. Let's try number 2.
Okay. Okay. Jerry is not the tallest in his family, but is taller than the third tallest. Bob is not the shortest, but is shorter than the third shortest. Mary is neither the shortest nor the tallest, and Helen is taller than Orville. Order the people from tallest to shortest.
You're supposed to use a piece of paper and a pencil for this, by the way.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I
or you
have
can
it.
use your blood and write on the table.
How about if I just use my head? That'll prove even more that I have TI.
Okay, good luck.
Okay, let's do it. Jerry is not the tallest in the family, but is taller than the shorter. Actually, I might need a pencil.
Yeah, you need a pencil and paper.
Yeah. I got too confident. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, INFJ.
Okay.
There it is.
Probably
Okay.
an INFP also. But not with like.
Jeez. Jerry's not the tallest in the family, but is taller than the third tallest. Okay, so Mary's not the tallest. Okay, so Helen is the tall. Bob is not the shortest, but is shorter than the third shortest. Shorter than the third shortest. So he's either the fourth or the fifth shortest. No, he's the fourth shortest. Bob. Okay. So Jerry is not the tallest in the family, but is taller than the third tallest. So he's taller than the third tallest. Okay. So Jerry's the second tallest. Helen is taller than Orville. Mary is not. Okay. Okay, I have my answer.
Okay, what's your answer?
So Helen is the tallest.
Okay.
Jerry's the second. Mary, Bob, and then Orville. Is that correct?
Yes. Let me see. Is there enough information to tell where Mary and Orville are in relation to each other?
Mary is neither the shortest nor the tallest. Like just them two specifically?
Okay, Jerry's second tallest.
Yeah.
Bob is second shortest. So then we have 1,
Ye-
3, and 5. Mary must be, I see,
Yeah.
Mary must be 3, and Helen must be 1, and Orville must be 5. Okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Gotcha. Yeah, you got it. Okay, I want to um, switch the tab that I'm sharing to this other tab and try a
Okay.
couple of these ones. These are shorter.
Um, to interject real quick, the
Uh-huh.
one below the one we just did about this person is guilty, this person is not guilty, and like the 5 statements that the people say
Uh-huh.
and figure out which one is guilty. So I told this person that claims that I'm an ESFP, I told them that I was able to answer that, and I explained the concept because you had it in one of your videos, like a place to click on the document. So I just tested them out, and I was able to deduce it myself. And I told him that, and I said I was able to get the right answer. And he said, "Well, it was your intuition. You didn't deduce it." I'm like, "No, it was not my intuition. I was able to."
I mean, it is easily enough deducible if you do intuit the trick to how to deduce it. But the thing is, why would he conclude it wasn't deductively reasoned? Were you clear?
Well, I think
I mean,
he already had it in his head. Well, okay, so
what?
he had
Let me
already
ask.
decided.
Hold on. Let me ask you something first. When you came
Okay.
up with the answer, did you say the answer is definitely this because meow can't be meow and meow can't be meow, or did you say I just know the answer is this?
When I came up with the answer, I actually did it in front of my friends too a while ago because I wanted to see if they could do it, and my friend wasn't able to do it, and I said, well, this is what I said. So if one person says
All right.
it says
Here. Walk me
this
through it. Walk me through it on this one, okay?
oh, okay.
I'm gonna put it back up. I mean, make it big.
Okay, let me
All right.
unfull screen you.
So you probably haven't seen exactly this one before.
I haven't, but I know where this is
You
going.
get the concept of it, right? So then
Yeah.
walk me through the process by which you determine who's guilty and who's not.
Okay, well, so automatically, the third and the 5th one basically gives it away. So Carl says Dan is guilty and Earl is guilty, so both of those can't be true, but one of them is, meaning either Dan is the guilty one or Earl is the guilty one. So Earl says Earl is not guilty and Dan is not guilty. And Dan is not guilty. Carl says Dan is guilty.
This has an extra trick to it.
Oh, okay. So maybe I should do it a different way.
No, you're on the right path. You just gotta
Uh,
go one additional step.
Earl says. Dan is guilty and Earl is guilty. If that's true. Actually, I'm a tad confused now.
All right. Well,
So is this one a little bit different than the one on the other document?
Well, it's a little bit harder. It's a little bit harder because you can easily enough narrow it down to Earl and Dan.
Yeah, but you can't just from those 2 sentences because.
But then you have to remember that both Earl and Dan say one true statement and one false statement in their own statements.
Oh, okay. I haven't even looked at anybody else. I was just looking at Earl and Carl's statements. Dan says Earl is guilty and Carl is not guilty.
So we know it's either Dan or Earl, right?
Yeah.
So what do we know about the other ones?
You mean like? I mean, we know that it's not anybody else.
Correct.
It's not Abby, Carl, or I mean, it's not Abby. Yeah, Abby, Carl, or
Bob.
Abby, Carl, or Bob. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Oh, Earl says. Hold on. Oh, is that Earl on there twice? Earl says Bob is guilty and Carl is not guilty. Earl says Earl is not guilty and Dan is not guilty.
Oh, that should say Bob. Sorry.
Oh, okay. That's why I was confused. So,
But it doesn't.
the fifth statement.
But no. But okay. Given that should say Bob,
Oh,
still,
okay.
you're still in the same spot.
Okay. Bob says Bob is. Oh, okay. Well then. Okay, then Carl is the guilty one.
No.
I mean, I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. It's Earl and Dan, not Carl. I'm sorry. Mm.
Okay. So the thing is, the key thing here is that.
So Earl's the guilty one. No. Okay. No. Earl's not the guilty one. Dan is the guilty one.
No, Earl's the guilty one.
Wait. Huh. Wait.
Because look.
Wait. So Bob says that Bob is guilty and that Carl is not guilty.
Remember, each person says one lie and one truth.
Yeah. So it's true. So Bob is telling the truth that Carl is not guilty.
Right.
And then Dan says Carl is not guilty, which is also the truth.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Oh, wait, no. You know what? I think I messed this question up, is what I think I did. Let me see. If Carl's not guilty... Carl's not guilty, okay, so then one of those two is true, and one of them's a lie. If Dan's not guilty and Earl's guilty, then that's true, that's a lie. That's true. Then I see. Yeah, there's a problem, because if Earl's guilty, then Dan would be telling the truth when he says Earl's guilty. And then Earl would have to be lying twice. So it's an unsolvable problem. That's why you couldn't solve it.
And that was not intended?
No.
Or no, well, you didn't remember.
Okay. I just pulling up old resources that I made for classes a long time ago. I'm sure the kids yelled at me when I made it and for the class originally. So, yeah, this one is unsolvable, and that's why you couldn't solve it.
Oh, well,
congratulations. Congratulations for being unable to solve the unsolvable problem. That's a good sign. But what this would need to have to say is Dan is guilty.
Okay.
Then no. Wait, no. This is true. This is a lie. But this is true, and this is true. So that doesn't work. So in other words, they have to say not guilty here. There. Alright, but anyway, so, my bad. Can you do this one? Helen's father's wife's only sons, daughter's mother's only sons. You want to try it? No?
Yeah. Alright, so grandfather, grandmother, Helen's father, Helen's mother, Helen's brother, Helen's daughter, Helen's daughter's brother, which is which is Helen's daughter's daughter. So Helen's the grandmother. So her grandson, which is okay. Then her own daughter. Then so Helen's son. So is this Helen's daughter?
Okay, so you got your grandson, then back to Helen, then back to. No, I'm sorry. You got your grandson, then back to. Yeah, Helen, who is the daughter. Wait. All right, let me start it from the top. Okay, so grandfather, great grandfather, great grandmother, grandfather,
So Helen's dad's dad, which is Helen's grandfather. The wife of Helen's grandfather is Helen's grandmother, and her only son is Helen's dad.
Okay,
Son.
and then that's Helen again.
Helen, and then
Helen's mother is Helen's mother, which is different. Okay, so Helen's mother is Helen's mother. Then Helen's mother's only son is Helen's brother, right?
Yeah, Helen's brother,
and then that's Helen again. And then Helen's daughter is Helen's daughter. Helen's daughter's daughter is Helen's granddaughter. Helen's daughter's brother is Helen's son. The grandson's mother is Helen's daughter. Then grandson again. Then granddaughter again. Granddaughter, right? Is that what you said?
Wait. Yeah, did I say that?
I don't know if you said it or not. But I think it's granddaughter. That's a tough one to parse through.
Yeah, I can't remember what I said. I'll have to go back and look at it.
Here's the key takeaway from all of this. You are definitely TI. There's no disputing it. I've worked with lots and lots of students in logic classes working with these kind of problems, and I can assure you, in no uncertain terms, that you pick it up and you're talking to me and are much more equipped to deal with it than most people are. And it doesn't really matter about the age either. I've got a 6th grade ISTP who's picking this shit up like crazy. But the point is, let me also say this. It's not just about your capacity to do logic problems. It's also about how you justify things and how you go about the world thinking about things. So I want you to explain to me why it's a bad idea for the United States to invade Canada.
I don't know.
Okay. If I were to say it's a good idea to invade Canada because it's always good to get higher and improve, and Canada is above us on the map, what would you say?
You said it's a good idea to invade Canada because, what was that last part?
The first part is, it's always a good idea to try to improve, and higher is better, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, Canada is higher than the United States on the map, so we should invade Canada and take it over.
Okay. No.
What's wrong with what I just said?
You said it's good to improve, and then you said that Canada was higher on the map.
Well, I said it's good to improve, and improving means getting higher.
Oh, I see what you're the difference in the wording. Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying you're, like, getting higher on the scale is, like, improving, but then you're saying because Canada is higher on the map. Like, physically higher place on the map. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, well, I'm making an equivocation fallacy.
Yes.
All right, so explain to me what's wrong with me saying this. That guy must be French. He's smoking Gaulois, the French brand cigarettes, and therefore he must be French.
That's just a hasty generalization.
Okay. What if I were to say it's come up red 10 times in a row, and So now's a good time to bet on black on the roulette wheel because it's bound to come up black next time.
Oh, that's just the problem with you thinking that because because of chance, basically, you thinking that every time you've gotten it red, that this time it must be black just because every other time it was red. But it doesn't mean that it won't be black this time
Okay.
because it's a 50 chance of being black or red
When you
anytime.
read stuff, well, okay. I mean, the bottom line is you're definitely TI. You think TI. You are TI. For anybody to think that you're TI polar is absolutely insane. And all I would do is say, look at the video from yesterday with the ESFP and compare the approach to, the way of talking, everything about the TI between you and the other person. I have to go now, though, Mackenzie. You have to stay here, actually, because I've got my kid coming in, my regular education client, in about 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll publish this in a little bit.
Okay. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Talk to you later.
No problem.